Thank you, Jack and Betty. As I was thinking of the talk today and driving here to Processions, I thought, well, in Carlsbad right now, there's a couple of processions going on. There's the flow of people coming to Unity of Carlsbad. There's the flow of people for the race, and there are people who are cheering them on, and sometimes our roads converge, don't we? And we make room for each other, and there is enough room for all of us here. Oh boy. So first of all, I want to say that we have a great month planned for you here. That Reverend Mary Gabrielson, who's in the front row here, stand up, Mary. She's one of the founding ministers of Unity of Carlsbad. She's going to be with us up here in 2 weeks, the 16th. I almost put her to work today, but 2 weeks. And then we have Carl Anthony coming the week after. Yay. And then we get to experience our wonderful Reverend Jackie. Awesome talk last week, too. And next week, of course, is Easter in the back room there, the activities room. And we'll have a potluck, and Jack and Sylvia are doing music. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope we see you then, too. So April's going to rock. It really is. So in April, we have a new spiritual power to focus on. We've been working with the 12 powers and calling them forth, letting them sink in more deeply, putting them into action. And so our power for April is love. And as a spiritual power, it's our ability, or the ability, to attract, to magnetize, to harmonize, to unify. And so let's start with inviting it in more with some affirmations. And I will say these all like a poem first, and then I'll invite you to join me in affirming them. I am a radiating center of divine love. I am held in the infinite embrace of God's love. Love and peace speak to me, through me, and as me. The high vibration of unconditional love supports all of my relationships. I am the harmonizing power of divine love. So if you want to stand and move as you say this, feel free to do it as we affirm these love statements of truth. Together, I am a radiating center of divine love. I am held in the infinite embrace of God's love. Love and peace speak to me, through me, and as me. The high vibration of unconditional love supports all of my relationships. I am the harmonizing power of divine love. And so it is. Let's just take a breath and let that sink in more deeply. It feels good? Yeah, it feels good. So every time we affirm truth, we make way for the holy even more. In our awareness, in our thoughts, in our actions. And so this is a special week, the week before Easter, Holy Week. That is the culmination of Jesus' physical teachings, physical ministry, and he had an incredibly dramatic and full week, right? So this is a time for us of spiritual preparation, because the theme of Easter is transformation. What has seemed lost, forgotten, dead can rise again, that eternal spirit that we have. So we know that the Bible and what the Bible and histories have to say about Jesus' last week, and today we're looking at some metaphysical through a metaphysical lens, which is a symbolic lens to look beyond the physical, to see what spiritual food it can have for us and how it can inform us on our own quest for spiritual understanding, for depth of awareness, and for exponential growth. So we're tapping into this energy of transformation, of release and renewal. So in Unity Metaphysics, we see every person, place, activity in the Bible that has a symbol for us of deeper meaning, for our own soul's evolution. We see Jesus as our teacher, our way shower, our elder brother who showed us the way to live our divinity, even in the face of conflict, adversity, and troubled times. So as you listen today, notice what rings true for you, and know that the insights that you receive may be totally different from your neighbors or whoever's sitting next to you. And that's the beauty of this approach, that it's very personal. And each person may have a different interpretation. So I just invite you to put your spiritual antennas up to see what Spirit has for you today. Insights, ahas, understandings, grace, peace. So there's a gift for you today. You're on a divine appointment today, and your persistence got you here through all those roadblocks. So this is a time and this is a week for us to have greater reflection, to go inward more, to notice, to listen to our lives, to listen to our spiritual life. What is it telling me? How is God working in me and in my life? That's a good question to take into the week. So before we look at the metaphysical meanings, let's go to the scene of Palm Sunday. And by the way, thank you, Sunshine, for bringing the palms. And these, anytime you feel moved to wave them, this will be a symbol of strength for you, for whoever you wave it at, a symbol of, yes, I see the Christ in you. And I think Dennis is getting some more back there. If you would like one and don't have one, raise your hand. Yeah. So we'll get the palms waving. Hey, thanks, Dennis. So to set the scene for the week, imagine thousands of people walking together. And there's excitement. There's the dust from the feet. There's the clang of the pots on the pack animals. There's the children laughing and dancing around the adults. Up here, I think, too. There's this joyous atmosphere of people headed to Jerusalem for the great Passover feast, which would be a week long. And people have heard of Jesus, and some are coming to Jerusalem just to see him, to be healed, to hear his voice, to be in his presence. He's magnetic. That power of love is magnetic. And so he's drawn this crowd that is ever widening behind him. And when word got out that he would be riding into town on the donkey, some went ahead and they laid their cloaks down and they were ready to welcome him with the palm branches. And so we imagine this scene as one of great joy and hope and energy, following Jesus, greeting him as he makes his entry into the city. So meanwhile, on the other side of town, another procession was forming to enter into Jerusalem. Did you know about that? Who was in that group? religious and political leaders who were afraid that Jesus was getting too powerful, and they were conspiring together in ways to get rid of the, quote, nuisance that was drawing people away from them and their power, away from the law, away from tradition. And in that group were the Pharisees, who feared that Jesus would provoke the Roman government and bring disaster for all of them. And also in this group was the Herodians, the Roman government, who feared that the new king, as he was called, would cause a revolt and uprising and overthrow them. So there's a lot of fear in that group over there. So 2 processions entered Jerusalem that day. One of joyous celebration, hope, love, and another fueled by fear, mounted, ready to fight. So symbolically, does that happen inside sometimes? You know, we have this part of us that knows the truth, that is following, and then this other part that may try to shut it down. You know, the new idea. Who do you think you are? But the Christ is victorious. I like this from Ernest Wilson. He wrote this wonderful book called The Week That Changed the World, all about Holy Week. And here's a quote. "Come with us our way is the cry of mortal man. Come with me, God's way, is the invitation of the Christ." So what does that require from us to follow the Christ, to follow that higher way? What must be released? What must be renewed? In our visioning time that we had a while back, and it was in the newsletter again, we worked with that too. We're going into the future, what needs to be released? What can we embrace? And a lot of what came up for to be released was fear, the way it's always been done. The I can't, lack, limitation, releasing that and embracing God, possibility, new ideas, new life. So I'm really excited for us to do the second part of that today, and that poster is back where sunshine is with the dots. I think you'll get those during the offering, to really look at that list and take a breath and pray and see where Spirit moves you to put, where would a Spirit guiding me, where would I like to participate or support or attend, and what came out of that visioning. So let's look at Jesus' procession here, because there's some spiritual food for us in the symbols here. So first of all, the setting. Jerusalem means a city of peace. And symbolically, it's that place peace within us that Fillmore calls the habitation of peace, or the abode of prosperity. So when you're feeling peaceful, don't you feel prosperous? Like everything's okay. No worries, right? The location of this, the city of peace, is the nerve center back at the heart that Spirit sends radiance to the whole body. And that's, coincidentally, is where our power of love is located, in the back of the heart here. And when you feel peace, don't you feel it as a whole body experience? You can relax, right? Relax. So mind, body, spirit. That's a Jerusalem within. So that Jesus represents our spiritual nature, the spiritual I am, our spiritual nucleus, as Fillmore called it. I like that image, the nucleus from which all life comes. Fillmore also notes that Jesus came to connect the thinker with the source of thought. So he showed us how to do it, how to pray, how to go apart for a while, to connect, align with God, know ourselves as loved, as guided, as beloved. So the little colt, the donkey, I have it. So here we go. Represents our animal nature, our 5 senses that are untrained. It also represents meekness, stubbornness, persistence, and endurance. So that human nature, sometimes like that little donkey, bucking and stubborn, but the Christ can tame that and guide it to that peace, to that place of peace. So these traits, though, persistence, endurance, are traits that Jesus had to have to do the work that was his to do. And traits that serve us as well when we are called to do the work that is ours to do. Endurance, persistence, to think truth, to summon the higher view in the face of challenge, disappointment, setbacks, and obstacles. So we're all getting practice with that right now, right? In our personal lives, and then being part of the larger collective in this world where things happen that just hit right here, that are hard to bear, hard to witness. The witness is always part of the equation too when something happens. Destruction, harm, the witness feels that. But as the witness, we can get on that donkey and know that the Christ can bring us peace. We can be centered. We can hold space. We can send love to those affected and see them getting the comfort, the justice, the peace that their hearts are calling for. And this also gives the perspective that when we let our Christ reign and ride over our human emotions, and we go out into the world, right out into the world like that, and smile at a stranger, even a smile. Or here, go in front of me and let a kind gesture. You may be the one who, that gesture is like a little arm that brings that person back into the fold of knowing that they are loved, they are seen, they're supported. Your comment, your smile may be what brings someone away from the edge of despair and back into hope. So this is what we're about here in our spiritual work, right? Being with our humanness, letting our Christ out more in expected and unexpected places. And doesn't it feel good when you do that? I had an opportunity this morning when I was driving here and I was turning left on a busy road and there was cars, we're all at a red light and the cars stopped and a woman rolled down her window and she was pointing, she wanted to get over in that lane. And I was like, okay, sure. I had to wait 3 seconds for her to do that. It's like these little things that mean a lot to someone. That there is kindness in the world in the face of everything that seems unkind and unhuman going on. There is kindness. There is love. So Jesus riding the colt into Jerusalem. What an odd choice, you might think. He could have had a horse, he could have had a cart, could have walked. But he's on this animal. He doesn't know how it's going to react. But I don't see any spurs on his sandals. So he had this gentleness. And our Christ, too, has that ability to be gentle with that, stubborn burro in us sometimes that doesn't want to do the right thing, that doesn't want to be loving, that doesn't want to be forgiving. and just gently present and steering the mind, the thoughts. And this was a symbol to people of his day that he was fulfilling a prophecy. Prophecy from Zechariah that the king would come riding on a colt. So this was a message to the people. He's saying, yep, that's right, I am the way, the truth, and the light, without saying a word. This was his symbol to them. And so his choice metaphysically shows that the spiritual I am within us takes precedence, takes control over the material, lifting up our animal nature into the spiritual plane, as Fillmore says, of mastery, purity, and peace. And of course, this takes some practice, right? And to be gentle with ourselves when we let the burrow buck around in our mind. The spreading of the cloaks and waving of the palm branches represents the joyful commitment and homage to the higher consciousness when error thought is overcome. That's from Fillmore. And when we return to that divine mind alignment, it does feel like a homecoming, doesn't it? Yeah, safe place. The palms signify unlimited strength. I feel like a conductor. Unlimited strength. So the thoughts are in procession, following each other in the light of the Christ. The palms also represent that the road is paved with strength. So this isn't always easy, is it? Choosing to let the Christ reign in our thoughts, in our actions, in our minds. But when we can, the rewards are great. As I was thinking about the scene today and the contrast and that work of art there with the two faces in the mind, one looking this way, one looking the other. It's a choice we have in every instance. Not always easy. What came to mind was getting to practice this in community at my first church, where I pulled up to church one morning. They had their own building, beautiful grounds. And there was a fire truck and smoke pouring out of the building. And that's a shocking thing to drive up to on Sunday morning. And so I put out the word, tell people not to come. You know, there's something has happened here. But people came anyway. Everybody came to church. And we all stood outside. And the fire marshal who was there led me and a board member inside, and it was very surreal. And we had these pictures of Jesus and Mary and Dalai Lama and some other figures, and they were unharmed. They were, in fact, looked like they were glowing in the dark, dusky, smoky place. And we looked at each other like, is that me? Do you see this? It was amazing. So we learned that an arsonist had set the fire. So when everybody came, there were grumbles. People were mad. People were mad. Boy, there was anger. I heard, let's go find that person and teach them a lesson. How dare they? So we decided we needed some prayer. We needed some prayer, so we made a big circle in the parking lot and just acknowledged what was happening. It was shocking and heartbreaking. But we decided to pray and give thanks that no one was hurt. No one was hurt. We also prayed for healing, for our community and for whoever was responsible for this. We also prayed that whoever was responsible for this be contained so they did not destroy or hurt others or themselves. We had to take a big, deep breath for that one. So choosing to employ love in the situation. And we got to know that the church wasn't the building, that it was the circle of strength, the circle of love, the power to endure with humbleness, with meekness, with surrender. Sometimes surrender just means accepting what is. You don't have to like it, but accepting. And choosing to hold love, to hold a higher vision of what was possible with our procession of thoughts. So amazingly, a short time later, I think it was like a week and a half later, the person responsible turned himself in and confessed. And it came out that we were the third building in or was it the fourth, in the town that he had done this to. And so we never know the power of prayer and what the power of love can do to heal, to harmonize, to bring together what has been lost, what has been broken, and perhaps to bring it together in a new way. 2 processions of thought. On Palm Sunday, one that is going through the motions, following the changeable world authority, and another that is following divine authority. One parade of thoughts that thinks it knows it all, and another that is teachable, open to knowing more. One train of thought reacting out of fear, another responding with faith, with courage, with wisdom. One that is tripping on the stones in the path and wants to throw stones, and another that sees obstacles as stepping stones. So this week I invite us to reflect, especially if there's a time when you feel unsettled or questioning or even troubled, to ask ourselves, what procession are my thoughts in? Are they mounting up, gearing, ready to fight? Or are they taking me to peace, to where I want to go, to the abode of peace within, to Jerusalem within? So this Easter season is all about transformation. One of my colleagues wrote a book that I love the title, You Can't Sleep Through Your Awakening, or You Can't Sleep Through Your Transformation. So this week, may we be awake to our transformation. May we be awake to the joy of the Christ, that our thoughts can follow the procession of being, knowing, living God more, as God more. Releasing the old and making room for the new, for new life, breaking through and rising up. And as, Mary Oliver put it, joy is not meant to be a crumb. So take a big bite of joy. So we are going to close with an affirmative version of the prayer of St. Francis, written by James Twyman. The St. Francis prayer, make me an instrument. So I invite you to let these words be a blessing. Beloved, I am an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, I am love. Where there is injury, I am pardon. Where there is doubt, I am faith. Where there is despair, I am hope. Where there is darkness, I am light. Where there is sadness, I am joy. Divine Master, I seek to console rather than be consoled. I seek to understand rather than be understood. I seek to love rather than be loved. For it is in the grieving that I receive, or the giving that I receive, in the pardoning that I am pardoned, and in the dying to my own limitations that I live. I am an instrument of your peace. And so it is. Amen.